how can we truly know our purpose and our destiny? I'm going to take a drink. Maybe you guys take one with me. So the word purpose comes from the word pure and position. So the word purpose means to be in a pure position. How do you get into a pure position? And I just ran a program called HEAL, Health, Education, and Lifestyle. And in that 3-day program, at the very end, I talked about passion. And some people, have a negative connotation with passion. Some people have a positive connotation with passion. It's kind of like back and forth. But I see the word passion, Passion, as pass ions. Okay, so when I'm doing something that I love, there's like this ionic energy that's developing within me. And every single one of you know it. If you're doing something that you really love and you're passionate about, it's like time collapses, like you're on point. You're not thinking about food. You're not thinking about other things. Like you're in the moment. You're in your flow. You got a little bun dance happening. You're loving life. You're passionate. So I do this little piece at the heel where I draw a bee. And I'm like, what am I drawing here? And people are like, oh, it's a bee. Yes, it's a bee. And then I draw this thing over here, and they're like, what's that? And it's a flower. Yeah, what does the bee do? It goes to the flower. Why does the bee go to the flower? And everybody, almost every time, says pollen. The bee goes to the flower for pollen. Because the bees pollinate the flowers, and that's their purpose. And I think we would all agree, without the bees, we wouldn't have pollination, and trees wouldn't fruit. We wouldn't have all the beautiful foods that we have. So yes, the bee's purpose is pollination, but that's not why the bee goes to the flower. And this is important, so listen up. The bee goes to the flower because the flower offers nectar, and the nectar tastes sweet, and it's beautiful and amazing. The flower is putting off an aroma. The flower has colors. The bee's flying along, and it's attracted. It's like, oh, look at the flower and all the color, and it flies down, sacred geometrical pattern into the flower, and it's probably like these overwhelming smells and feeling and essential oils. The bee's like making love to the flower, and it sticks out its little tongue into these little tubules, and it literally drinks the nectar. And as it's drinking the nectar, it's like, oh my God, it's like an orgasmic experience. If you've ever done a fast, you eat a mango, you'll know what the bee's experiencing. And I know what it's like because you can go into the consciousness of animals and things in nature and actually have their experiences once you hit higher levels of consciousness, fasting, and these sorts of things. I know it sounds super crazy, but I know what it's like to be a bee and drinking nectar. So the point of this is that a bee is drinking the nectar because it makes it feel alive. It's passionate about it. It loves it. It's going around to all the flowers and collecting the nectar, and it's loving it. The bee does what it's passionate about. And in the process of the bee doing what it's passionate about, literally the pollen is getting stuck to the bee. If the bee could get rid of it, it would. The bee doesn't give a shit about its purpose. That's the truth. The bee just wants to drink nectar and make some honey back at the hive for all the other bees and just keep collecting honey and doing what it's passionate about. So the whole point is we are human beings. We are here to be like the bee, to find our nectar in life. What are the things that get you excited? What are the things that you're just like, man, if I was coming over like, hey, let's go do this, you're just like, oh my God, yes, amazing. What's the conversations? If you were out at a party or if you're out wherever and somebody starts talking, having a conversation, what's the conversation? You're like, oh, I know something about that. Let me talk a little bit about that. If you had all the money in the world and you couldn't spend it on bills, what would you spend it on? Where would you want to go? What would you want to do? We need to find our nectar. Okay, so I have found my nectar in life. My nectar is human evolution. It's nutrition. It's learning information about the potential for regeneration and life and health and vitality and sharing that with other people. I love taking vast amounts of knowledge and information and compressing it into simple nuggets of wisdom and sharing. I love being on stage and talking to people. Wasn't always like that. Okay, maybe one-on-one at first, just having conversations and talking about health stuff. I don't know what it is, but I love it. New ideas, fasting, what should we eat? Why should we eat it? What do we need to do to be healthy and happy and strong and have endless energy and mental clarity? That's the type of stuff I love. And by just focusing my energy on what I love, the processional effect of fulfilling my purpose has come in. So I'm fulfilling a purpose of, I don't have no idea how many thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people have their lives completely transformed just because I'm doing what I'm passionate about. And to a degree, I don't mean to sound, like I'm apathetic or anything, but to a degree, I don't really care. I don't really care what effect I'm having on people. I'm just doing what I love. And people can come along and they can be like, wow, this is great, and have their lives change from it. Or they can come along and be like, hey, you're a dickhead, and go somewhere else. So to me, it doesn't really matter how people take it. Obviously, I want people to get something good out of it. And I do care that people are having their lives transformed, but that's not the point. The point is I'm focused on my passion. And we need to be aware as our passions modify. We need to be aware that there's not only one nectar. I have many forms of nectar, things that I love to do. And as I get nectar here, and I get nectar here, and I get nectar here, it all feeds my soul. It all is feeding me and giving this energy and vitality so that I can, especially within this space, have the energy and the groundedness and enough of that nectar to maybe feed others. Become a source of nectar myself, maybe. So the word passion. First is passing ions as I do what I love. Passing ions, do more of what you love, do more of what you love. If you're stuck in a job, when you're not working, make sure you carve out some time to do what you love every day. Or on the weekends, make sure you're carving out time to do what you love. Even at work, find out, how can I be talking about the things that I love and doing some of the things, sharing a little bit of this idea and this magic, even within the workspace, whatever it is. And eventually, as you become it, gnosis, praxis, and telecus, I know what it is I like, I do what it is I like, and I become what it is I like through the process of doing. Not just mental masturbation, but like talking it and being it and living it and practicing it in your life. You become it. Once you become it and you gain the true wisdom and understanding, the entelechy, gnosis, praxis, and telecus, you become the intelligence of that thing. You gain new knowledge and new information will come at that point. Then when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And we have to recognize our next teachers and follow those pathways for more nectar and more growth. But then passion becomes pass-I on. And it's a process of like passing on what you've learned through the process of harvesting your nectar. And in that is your greatest wealth. Because you'll never work a day in your life, and you'll be able to offer magical things to other people, inspiration and insights and potential experiences, etc., and be able to be paid for it. Living proof.